Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunati Hira Vanachari. Janavallabha Shodanandanam Janarandana. Shodanandanam Janarandana. Natira Vanachari. Manova Kunjavihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devi Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Nasha Prayesu Bhadreshu Nityam
Prayesu Bhadreshu Bhagavativaya
Bhaktir Bhavati
Bhagavatiruttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtaki
Ashnati Anantah Kalu Tattva Kovidai
Asnatyanantah khalu tattva kovidai
Tam Yanamukha Ijjanamavihi
Rattahutam yanmukha ijjanamavihi
Tatha Chetanaya Bahiskrute
Bhave tatha chetanaya bahishkrite
Dashane Paramahamsya Parihaguhu
Utashane paramhamasya paraya guru
Ashnati Anantah Kalu Tattva Kovidai
Asnatyanantah khalu tattva kovidai
Ashnati Anantah Kalu Tattva Kovidai
Asnatyanantah khalu tattva kovidai
Tam Yanamukha Ijjanamavihi
श्रद्धाहुतं
श्रद्धाहुतं
मन्मुखयज्ञनामभिः
श्रद्धाहुतं यन्मुखयज्ञनामभिः
चेतनया बहिष्कृते
भावे तथा चेतनया बहिष्कृते
चेतनया भविष्कृते
भावे तथा चेतना बहिष्कृते
भाषणे पारमहंस पारगुः
दाशने
दार्शने
पारमहंस्य
पारमहंस
परे
परगुः
भाषणे पारमहंस पर्यगुः
दार्शने
दाशने
पारमहंस्य परगुः
अनन्तः खलु तत्त्वकोविदः
अश्नात्यनन्ता
अश्नात्यन्तः खलु तत्त्वविदे
जनामभिः
श्रद्धाहुतं
श्रद्धाहुतं
यन्मुखयज्ञनामभिः
यन्मुखयज्ञनामभिः
बहिष्कृते
भावे
न वै
तथा
तथा
चेतनया
चेतनाय बहिष्कृते
पारमहंस पर्यगुः
दार्शने पारमहंस पर्यगुः
अश्नाति अनन्ता खलु तत्त्वकोविदः श्रद्धाहुतं यन्मुखयज्ञनामभिः न वै तथा चेतनया बहिष्कृते पारमहंस पर्यगुः
आनंद खलु तत्त्वकोविदे न वै तथा चेतनया बहिष्कृते दाशने पारमहंस पर्यगुः आश्रय अनंत खलु तत्त्वकोविदे दाहुतं यन्मुख इत्यनामभिः न वै तथा चेतनया बहिष्कृते दाशने पारमहंस न वै तथा चेतनया बहिष्कृते दाशने परमहंस पर्यगुः अनंत खलु तत्त्वकोविदे श्रद्धाहुतं यन्मुखयज्ञनामभिः न वै तथा चेतनया बहिष्कृते दाशने पारमहंस पर्यगुः
Ashnati
eats
Anantaha,
Anantaha,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the Supreme Personality of God.
Khalu, nevertheless. Tattva Kovidai,
Tattva-kovidai,
persons in knowledge of the absolute truth.
person in knowledge of
Shraddha,
Shraddha,
faith, Utam,
Utam,
offering fire sacrifices.
offering fire sacrifice.
Yat Mukhe,
Yat mukhe,
whose mouth,
whose mouth,
Ijjanama Vihi,
Janama,
by different names of demigods.
by different names of
Na,
Na,
never.
never,
Why?
Why?
Certainly.
certainly,
Tatha,
Tatha,
as much.
as much,
Chaitanaya,
Chaitanya,
by living force.
by living force,
Vahiskrite,
Vahiskrite,
being bereft of.
being very
Uta,
Uta,
Ashane,
Ashane,
in the fire
in
sacrifice.
the fire sacrifice.
Paramahamsya,
Paramahansya,
regarding devotees.
regarding devotee,
Paryaguhu,
Paryaguhu,
never goes away.
never goes away.
Although the Supreme Personality Godhead Ananta eats through the fire sacrifices offered in the names of the different demigods, it does not take as much pleasure in eating through the fire as it does in accepting offering through the mouths of the learned sages and devotees, for then it does not leave the association of the devotees. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead
Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Ananta, eats through
the
the fire sacrifices
fire sacrifice,
offered in the names of the different demigods,
offered in the names of different
it does not take
it does not take
as much pleasure
as much pleasure
in eating through the fire
eating through the fire
as it does in accepting offerings
as he does in accepting offerings
through the mouths of the learned sages
the month of conversations
and devotees.
and devotees.
For then,
For then,
it does not leave the association of
he does
devotees.
not leave the sin.
Yes, Supriti Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. According to Vedic injunctions, a fire sacrifice is held in order to give food to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the names of the different demigods. While performing a fire sacrifice, one pronounces the word Swaha in mantras such as Indraya Swaha and Adityaha Swaha. These mantras are uttered to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead through demigods such as Indra and Aditya. For the Supreme Personality Godhead says, Vaikunthe yoginam hridayeshu va tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti mat bhaktaha. I am not in Vaikuntha nor in the hearts of the yogis. I remain way. My devotees engage in glorifying my activities. It is to be understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not leave the company of his devotees. Fire is certainly devoid of life, but devotees and Brahmanas are the living representatives of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, to feed Brahmanas and Vaishnavas is to feed the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. It may be concluded that instead of offering fire sacrifices, one should offer foodstuffs to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, for that process is more effective than fire yagna. The vivid example of this principle in action was given by Advaita Prabhu. When he performed the Shraddha ceremony for his father, he first of all called Haridasa Thakura and offered him food. It is a practice that after finishing the Shraddha ceremony, one should offer food to an elevated Brahmana. But Advaita Prabhu offered food first to Haridasa Thakura, who had taken his birth in a Muhammadan family. Therefore, Haridas Thakura asked Advaita Prabhu why he was doing something which might jeopardize his position in Brahmana society. Advaita Prabhu replied that he was feeding millions of first-class Brahmanas by offering the food to Haridasa Thakura. He was prepared to talk with any learned Brahmana on this point and proved definitely that by offering food to a pure devotee like Haridasa Thakura, he was equally as blessed he would have been by offering food to thousands of learned Brahmanas. When performing sacrifices, one offers oblations to the sacrificial fire, but when such oblations are offered to Vaishnavas, they are certainly more effective. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yad Brahma Nityam Virajam Sanatanam Shraddha Tapo Mangala Mauna Samyamai Samadhina Bibrati Harta Drishtaye Yatredam Adrasha Ivava Bhasate. In Brahminical culture, a Brahmana's transcendental position is eternally maintained because the injunction of the Vedas are accepted with faith, austerity, scriptural conclusion, full sense and mind control, and meditation. In this way, the real goal of life is illuminated, just as one face is fully reflected in clear mirror. Yes, Mataji, continue.
Purport. Since it is described in the previous verse that feeding a living Brahmana is more effective than offering oblations in a fire sacrifice, in this verse it is now clearly described what Brahmanism is and who a Brahmana is. In the age of Kali, taking advantage of the fact that by feeding a Brahmana, one obtains a more effective result than by performing sacrifices, a class of men with no Brahmanical qualifications claim the eating privilege known as Brahmana Bhojana simply on the basis of their birth in Brahmana families. In order to distinguish this class of men from the real Brahmanas, Maharaja Prutu is giving an exact description of a Brahmana and Brahmanical culture. One should not take advantage of his position simply to live like a fire without light. A Brahmana must be fully conversant with this Vedic conclusion, which is described in Bhagavad Gita. Vedhaischa sarver ahameva vedyaha. Bhagavad Gita 15.15. The Vedic conclusion, the ultimate understanding or Vedanta understanding is knowledge of Krishna. Actually, that is a fact. Because simply by understanding Krishna as he is, as described in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chaimene Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha, one becomes a perfect Brahmana. The Brahmana who knows Krishna perfectly well is always in a transcendental position. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 14.26. मां च यो अव्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सा गुणान् समिताज्ञातान् ब्रह्म भूयय कल्पते. One who engages in full devotional service and who does not fall down in any circumstance at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahmana. Therefore, a devotee of Lord Krishna is actually a perfect Brahmana. His situation is transcendental, for he is free from the four defects of conditional life, which are the tendencies to commit mistakes, to be illusioned, to cheat, and to possess imperfect senses. A perfect Vaishnava or Krishna conscious person is always in this transcendental position because he speaks according to Krishna and his representative. Because Vaishnavas speak exactly according to the tune of Krishna, whatever they say is free from these four defects. For example, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that everyone should always think of him, everyone should become his devotee, offer him obeisances and worship him, and ultimately everyone should surrender unto him. These devotional activities are transcendental and free from mistakes, illusion, cheating, and imperfection. Therefore, anyone who is a sincere devotee of Lord Krishna and who preaches this cult speaking only on the basis of Krishna's instructions is to be understood virajam or free from the defects of material contamination. A genuine Brahmana or Vaishnava therefore depends eternally on the conclusion of the Vedas or Vedic versions presented by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Only from Vedic knowledge can we understand the actual position of the Absolute Truth, who, as described in Srimadbhagavatam, is manifested in three features, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This knowledge is perfect from time immemorial, and the Brahmanical or Vaishnava culture depends on this principle eternally. One should therefore study the Vedas with faith, not only for one's personal knowledge, but for the sake of spreading this knowledge and these activities through real faith in the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Vedas. In this word, the word Mangala, auspicious, is very significant. Srila Sridhara Swami quotes that to do what is good and to reject what is not good is called Mangala or auspicious. To do what is good means to accept everything favorable to the discharge of devotional service, and to reject what is not good means to reject everything not favorable for discharging devotional service. In our Krishna conscious movement, we accept this principle by rejecting four prohibited items, namely illicit sex life, intoxication, gambling, and flesh eating, and accepting the daily chanting of at least 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and meditation 3 times a day by chanting the Gayatri Mantra. In this way, one can keep his Brahmanical culture and spiritual strength intact. By following these principles of devotional service strictly, chanting 24 hours a day the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, one makes positive progress in spiritual life and ultimately becomes completely fit to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Because the ultimate goal of studying and understanding the Vedic knowledge is to find Krishna, one who follows the Vedic principles as described above can from the very beginning see all the features of Lord Krishna, the Absolute Truth, very distinctly as one can see one's own face completely reflected in a clear mirror. The conclusion is, therefore, that a Brahmana does not become a Brahmana simply because he is a living entity or is born in a Brahmana family. He must possess all the qualities mentioned in the Shastras and practice the Brahmanical principles in his life. Thus, he ultimately becomes a fully Krishna conscious person and can understand what Krishna is. How a devotee continuously sees Krishna face to face within his heart is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.38 as follows. प्रेमाञ्चनच्चुरित भक्तिविलोचनेन सन्तः सदैव हृदयेषु विलोकयन्ति यं श्यामसुन्दरमचिन्त्य गुणस्वरूपं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. The devotee, by development of pure love for Krishna, constantly sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Shyamasundara, within his heart. That is the perfectional stage of Brahmanical culture. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurubhe Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Sheshaya Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yada Brahma Nityam Virajam Sanatanam Shraddha Tapo Mangala Mauna Samyamai Samadhina Vibrati Harda Drishtaye Yatredam Adarshaiva Bhasate. In Brahminical culture, a Brahmana's transcendental position is eternally maintained because the injunction of the Vedas are accepted with faith, austerity, scriptural conclusion, full sense and mind control, and meditation. In this way, the real goal of life is illuminated just as one's face is fully reflected in clear mirror. Hare Krishna, everybody. So Prabhupada, in the previous purport, we see, audio is clear? I hope so. So the previous purport, Prabhupada is talking something very interesting. He says, you cannot say you are fire when you do not have light. I am fire. You cannot say that if there is no light. There is no question of being fire without a light. There is no light and you are not a fire. So here he mentions about 5 qualities for Brahmana. So many, but he specifically mentions 5 here. Shraddha. Brahmana means, in Bhagavad Gita also, astikyam, is firm faith. Yes, that is the quality of a Brahmana, firm faith. Not mind is dabbling. It's like some people hold to the rope, we should hold with hand, not with teeth. If you hold with teeth, then you cannot hold for long, you will slip. Then he talks about his understanding of the Shastra. Brahmana means patan patani, he studies the Shastra. Full control of the mind and senses. Tapasya. So many qualities are there. Therefore, Prabhupada is joking there. If somebody invites you to his home, please come. Why do they do that? They feel he is a spiritually advanced person. He is dear to Krishna. If I serve him, it is for my spiritual advancement. Prabhupada said everybody is very happy. Okay, I'll just keep the distance. So Prabhupada says that everybody is very happy, being served, being honored. But then we should know, are you qualified for that? When we get attention, when people are looking at us, people are bowing to us, people are serving us, we should really see. You see the example of Haridas Thakur. We don't want to learn from that. Haridas Thakur was such an elevated personality. He's Brahma himself, he's the incarnation. And such a pure devotee, so dear to Lord Chaitanya says he is Namacharya, title giver, and he is refusing when he is being honored. And we rush when we are being honored. It shows that within our heart, we have not come for service, we have come from honor. Somewhere we can get some honor, some recognition. That Maya will take care. Maya is very powerful. It will show to us face to face what kind of person we are. Therefore, Prabhupada is saying these Brahminical qualities, please try to acquire. Instead of seeking Brahmana Bhojana, try to acquire these qualities. Full control of the mind and senses. When Yudhishthira Maharaj is being asked to sit on the emperor throne, he is saying, no, I am not qualified. And we will jump, we will not even get sleep previous night. And if somebody says there's a problem, like Dasharatha told Lord Rama, there is a problem that I'm sorry, my dear child, I have given some word to my wife and therefore you have to go to the forest. He said, okay, father, fine. You took the throne, I was ready to sit at the throne. But you have given me some other order, I'll execute that order. He showed total detachment. When we have some service, we have some position, it is not without detached. So much hungry, licking every drop. Just like sometimes when we eat something that we like, we just every drop we take. So much hungry for honor. It is not spiritual. It's bogus. And it will fall apart. Very soon the person will fall apart. Will not be able to advance spiritually. Some drama will go on. Mana Puja. If somebody is so much hankering Mana Puja Pratishtha. So just a neophyte devotee. And we are all like that. Hungry. People hungry means one drop they will lick of any honor, any prestige, any comfort, any service. Wow, so wonderful. So here Prabhupada is saying, don't be after Brahmana Bhojana or Brahmana Seva. Just think of it actually. Whether I am controlling my mind, whether I am controlling my senses, whether I have full faith in the Shastra, whether I am doing other tapasyas which are recommended for a Brahmana, whether I read Shastra. No, I don't read Shastra, I have no time. No, I don't control my mind. It's like a monkey jumping all the time. Be genuine, no then. Be genuine. At least just like Haridas Thakur told Advaita Acharya, please don't say that, no. I'm not qualified for this. At least say that from your mouth. You see, Haridas Thakur is not qualified. He's Brahma. But he's teaching us. No. Such a great personality. Chaitanya Prabhu used to say, your humility breaks my heart. Such a great elevated personality, Haridas Thakur. And he's so sweet. You see that his behavior is so sweet. But Advaita Acharya says, no, feeding you is equal to Prabhupada quotes many times. Feeding you is equal to quoting millions of Brahmanas. Because it's actually a Param Vaishnava. This is a slap in the face of people. Advaita Acharya indirectly, who so-called call themselves Brahmanas, but actually have no qualifications for them. The society in India, in a social status, people say Panditji, like that, Swamiji, all that. But in the heart, you should just shrug it off. Just shrug it off. Don't get interested with all that. The reality is something else. The reality is, yes, I have a lot of work to do. The person is actually very cautious, not getting at that moment when we get attention, intoxicated with that. No? That is not a good behavior. It's actually very, very introspective. No. This is not what I am looking for in this world. What is there in this world? Some fools, we get attention and how much they become illuminated at that time. Oh, they are shining at that time. So don't very important, don't say I am fire when there is no light. So we know what kind of person I am, so we should be very careful. In Krishna consciousness we every day repeat 10 words, not to hurt a Vaishnava. And then we call ourselves Vaishnava doing that. What is this joke? Living in a community requires respecting everybody, not meditating on people's fault and then celebrating. Proper jokes about a needle. It sees a hole in another needle. But such a person generally full of holes. He doesn't see his own faults. Celebrating. Oh, I found some fault in somebody, let me dance now. So that is not a community living. That is not a Vaishnava living. Now Prabhupada, even though he is being very terse and very strict in the two purports, says something very nice at the end of the second purport we read today. He said, if you can follow the Brahminical culture and follow the rules and regulation as he has given, very soon, Prabhupada says, Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hridayesha vilocha. So very soon, you will be able to achieve love of Krishna. So that means vice versa. If you are not practicing Brahminical life and the standards of Brahminical life, then you cannot become a Vaishnava. Therefore, for a Vaishnava, why this is given as one of the first principles, Trinata Pisunicha. Vaishnava means more humbler than blade of grass. But no person is not humble. Little somebody says, which is a dishonor, Tarorape Sahishuna, it's very tolerant. No, I cannot tolerate. Don't say no, you're a Vaishnava. Why we are Kali Chela? Just wear a dress and make a joke of it. Trinatapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishuna. Should be tolerant. Not everybody in this world has high estimation of us. Many people feel you are good for nothing. No. Sometimes it is good that some people say something you have about qualification. It is good actually, that makes us reflect. Amanina, not expecting any respect. Manadena, giving all respect. So this will be tested in our behavior. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtane sadahari. This is continuous. Not that this behavior is there when I am neophyte, when I am here, I lose this behavior. No. It's always this behavior. Trinadapi, more humbler than a blade of grass. Tarorapi, more tolerant than a tree. The devotee means is compassionate, is merciful. People who is doing service with any qualification, people have no qualification. Prabhupada is actually giving a chance. Somebody is offering a service to Krishna and abusing him, humiliating him. Devotion service. Some joke. Then there is no symptom of spiritual advancement. So here we see very beautifully that Srila Prabhupada points two things very nicely. One side he says that yes, that don't take up, because Krishna is talking about one of the things, very nice things, let us discuss that first. That Krishna never leaves the association of Vaishnavas. So you cannot see therefore Krishna alone. If somebody makes Krishna alone is not very much in our, at least in our line of thought, we never do that. Krishna is with somebody. With somebody, not alone. Actually, even the Krishna Sambandhe, when you see even a Vaishnava, we think of his relationship to Krishna. And similarly, Krishna in relation to his devotees. He is not sitting alone. He is having Nitya Leela with unimaginably great devotees. And that is what Krishna is doing. So Krishna is never without the association of his devotees. So that way Krishna lives. The devotees are so dear to him. So where do we all begin now? Okay. We understand, not qualified even as a Brahmana, but seeking honor of the Brahmana. I am light without fire. I am fire without light. That is my position. I am fire. Kalichela, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. That's what I am. I am fire, but I don't have any light. So-called fire. So-called Brahmana without any Brahminical qualifications. So now in this thing, the Prabhupada is giving us a hope. He said, he is telling in the previous verse, he says, that devotee just repeats what Krishna says. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Manamana madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. He says 4 things. Manamana. So always think about me. Madbhakto. Become my devotee. Madhyaji. Worship me. Mam namaskuru. And you offer your obeisance to me. Prabhupada says, just devotee repeats that. Now this becomes Krishna conscious, just repeating what Krishna says. Because what Krishna says is beyond any defects what we are having. So that way we can advance. Another instruction read in the purport was Prabhupada says, Mangalam. The word Mangalam, auspicious. And Prabhupada said, Mangalam, auspicious means except what is favorable for Krishna consciousness. Then every moment is Mangalam. And if something is there which is not in our favor of Krishna consciousness, that you reject. How beautiful it is said. It is Mangalam. Then your movement is Mangal. Not only the Arati become Mangal, your whole day become Mangal, because whole day you should follow this principle. You cannot be just innocently foolish. No. I use the term innocently. You know, you are foolish. So we should be therefore to make every moment Mangalam is to reject everything which will not help me in Krishna consciousness and to accept things which will help me advance in Krishna consciousness. That is Mangalam. Mangalam. So we have to make our life Mangal, auspicious. To follow this principle, that is tapasya. It's not easy. Not that I leave my mind free, I make my mouth free. Vacha vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam. I don't do any of these vegas. Then amangalam, inauspicious. You lose everything. You got an opportunity to serve Krishna, gone. Amangalam, inauspicious. Yesterday we were seeing so nicely that how beautifully, just a small point was taken so beautifully. And he was talking about the story of the parrot, so striking it was, so striking. Very touching. Because directly if you tell somebody it hurt, he tells you the story of an allegory of a parrot. So everybody can appreciate, there is a lot of meaning in it. Ati sneha. So the balancing act of Ati Sneha. Ati Sneha, Ati Sneha means anything. It's called an addiction. Even not only a family member is Ati Sneha, people are generally like that. Whole life, just thinking of family. Prabhupada used to joke, no? They come to Vrindavan, all the property they give to family. And they come to Vrindavan with bead, and I have come to serve Krishna. What is this joke? What is this joke you are making of spiritual life? It is not a spiritual life. Ati Sneha. Sneha is all to family members, not to Krishna. And therefore, very nice example when he gave, he said, can I dovetail Ati Sneha? He said, yes, can you do it to Krishna? You cannot dovetail so-called Sneha with this word to Krishna. We should know, we should at least accept that it's a Maya. At least accept as a fact, that's Maya. Attachments, all attachments in this world are product of Maya. We should know the reality. What is the body relation? It's Maya. Not that the truth will change today. Truth is truth. There is no relation of the soul. We are not having any relation to any soul. What all we have relation to the body, it is Maya. Taken. But in a detached way, we dovetail it to service to Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada used to say, you cannot save anybody. You cannot save any family member. Everybody has to die in this world. You cannot do anything about it. That's a fact. And more sneha is there, more you will cry. Therefore, when Lord Rama was crying, looking for Mother Sita, it is given, he said that is the condition of a man who is too attached to woman. Okay? As a lesson. Not that Lord Rama is in that position, he is transcendental, but he is giving a lesson. This is your condition, if you are too attached to Sita, move, the serials and all don't know this higher understanding. The higher understanding is he's giving a lesson to you like the parrots. You just cry. Sometimes there is another story told of the parrots. The parrot took some, I don't know anything. You heard that? Prabhupada. One story we heard yesterday that the children got caught, the wife got caught, and the parrot also had lost his mind and jumped into the dive. Another thing is Prabhupada says, the parrot finally thought, let me take sannyas, because anyway I can. So Prabhupada says, you cannot save your family and members, they all will go to death. This tragedy of this world. This movie ends with a tragedy, everybody dies. Just imagine a movie at the end, everybody dies. A tragedy. Who wants like such a movie? But the fact is this word is like that. So to come out of all this thing, what is being presented in the Brahminical culture, in Saptaguna, where my first meditation is Krishna, not family members. Then will it test it. Just like we had that example of, so many examples of taking. When the situation came, they showed that first attachment was Krishna. Like we always take example of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Just walked away. My first attachment is Krishna. True, we are conditioned. These are the examples of liberated personality. But the principle we should be accepted. Just like when I was chanting at the beginning, there were devotees who telling me chant 16 rounds. So yeah, I accept the principle. I'm not able to do today, but I accept the principle. Not that the worst is people start justifying their weaknesses. That is horrible. Nobody should justify his weakness. Yes, there is a standard, I am not up to standard. Yes, Prabhu, I'll chant one day. It took me some time, 4 years to come to 16. Okay. But I was not averse. There are some people who say, no, we chant one round, but I chant very nicely. That is going to make a philosophy about that. Whatever situation we are in, we tend to glorify that situation. So overall the principle was, where do we begin? Here is the situation. Prabhupada is saying, don't be a fire without light. He is saying, yes, don't be a Brahmana, but without these 5 qualifications of austerity, knowledge of the Shastra, control of the mind and senses, full faith you should have. Then you call yourself a Brahmana. So these things we have. Okay? So then where do we begin? Where do we begin now? The Prabhupada says, Manmana. And in Kali Yuga, the Manmana comes taking shelter of the holy name. Whether we are actually disqualified from all angles in Kali Yuga. Take shelter. And not only take shelter, be merciful. Let everybody take shelter of the holy name, and advance in Krishna consciousness. Preach. This is called preaching. What is the first principle of preaching? You meet anybody, sir, why don't you chant Hare Krishna? That is the principle of preaching. And then as people take shelter of the holy name, devotee feels so much delight because he knows that's what he is. Nama Prabhu. Let everybody, the whole world take shelter of the Nama of the Lord. And we see as they become gladdened and blessed by the holy name, and they become purified, brings so much joy to our heart. People start changing and start tasting the bliss of Krishna consciousness. This is what we... Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, darshan de sakte hain. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare Rama
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 Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare
Ram
Rama
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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare